A new section has been added, 314.5, in the 2023 National Electrical Code, which covers screws or other fasteners, states that screws or other fasteners installed in the field that enter wiring spaces shall be, as provided by, or specified by, the manufacturer, or shall comply with the following, as applicable. Screws shall be machine type, with blunt ends. Other fasteners shall have blunt ends. Screws attaching a cover shall extend no more than 10 mm, or 3/8 of an inch. Screws or other fasteners, other than in 3, penetrating a cover, shall extend no more than 8 mm, or 5/16 of an inch. Screws or other fasteners penetrating a wall of a box exceeding 1,650 cm, 3 square, or 100 inch, 3 squared, shall extend no more than 6 mm, or 1/4 of an inch, or more than 11 mm, or 7/16 of an inch, if located within 10 mm, or 3/8 of an inch, of an adjacent box wall. Screws or other fasteners penetrating the wall of a box not exceeding 1,650 cm, 3 squared, or 100 inches, 3 square, and not covered in 314.23, B1, shall be made flush with the box interior, and screws or other fasteners penetrating the wall of a conduit body shall be made flush with the conduit body interior. The exception to 3 through 6, a screw shall be permitted to be longer if the end of the screw is protected with an approved means. Code-making Panel 9 is inserting language to protect against damage to conductors resulting from sharp projections from exposed threads of screws run through covers or sides of boxes. The location in Part 1 will make the requirement apply throughout the entire article. For correlation, Code-making Panel 9 is also inserting references to this rule throughout 314.70a. In all instances, the only permitted style of screw will be one with machine threads and a blunt end. This eliminates sharp points and coarse threads, with the attendant sharp-edged thread exposures of typical sheet metal screws. The penetrating length varies depending on the application and location. First, a cover screw is the customary 1/2 inch screw provided with boxes, expressed as the penetrating amount, or 7/16 inch. They penetrate adjacent to a box wall, at or near a corner, which tends to offer additional protection to an enclosed conductor. Other screws penetrating the cover are limited to 5/16 inch penetration, which allows the customary 3/8 of an inch faceplate screws used to attach devices to raised covers. It is understood that work directly with a cover inherently affords greater control over wire positioning than elsewhere in the box. Large boxes, generally those covered in Section 314.28, have covers supplied with 1/2 inch long screws that enter close to an enclosure wall, and that, therefore, allow for a 7/16 inch penetration. Outlet and device boxes, usually not over 100 inch, 3 squared, are more difficult, because they are often more tightly packed, and with severe visual obstruction of how wires are arranging themselves against a wall of a box. For that reason, screws added to a wall of such boxes are prohibited from any extension beyond the interior wall surface. There is correlating language with 314.23, B1, that allows for protected screws to run through the rearward portion of such boxes for mounting purposes. A similar limitation is imposed on screws applied to conduit bodies. A screw entering any part of a conduit bodies is likely to create damage during any stage of the process of pulling wires, and in such cases, the objection stands even with the cap nut on a projecting screw end. The second exception addresses the short gang screws that are shipped with most steel device boxes holding the sides in place. When such boxes are ganged, the same screws hold the ganged boxes together. These screws are made long enough to hold the sides in place and extend into the box by about 3/32 of an inch when securing adjacent gangs. They are supplied by the box manufacturers and cannot be easily shortened to the point of being flush. Code making panel 9 is excusing them as well. Code making panel 9 accepts the principle of the correlating committee request, PC 843, to develop more parallel language, and uses PC 1249 to achieve that. Code making panel 9 disagrees that the revisions regarding screw penetrations of wiring spaces in Articles 312 and 314 are equivalent, and agrees with the rebuttal on this point in PC 1609. Code making panel 9 agrees that the new wording must specify a standard of approval for the exception, as addressed in PC 1491, although placed in the exception instead of the list. Code making panel 9 disagrees with the other simplifications in PC 1491, because pole boxes are much more forgiving in terms of wiring space in comparison with outlet boxes. Code making panel 9 has clarified that the new text does not apply to the manufacturers of boxes, and therefore does not accept the removal of the requirement as requested in PC 1552. Code making panel 9 agrees that the new wording must clearly differentiate between screws provided in the field and screws provided by or specified by a manufacturer. These changes are not intended to alter any equipment designs or listings. A new section has been added to address screws and other fasteners by adding language to protect against damage to conductors resulting from sharp projections due to exposed threads of screws run through covers or sides of boxes. In all instances, the only permit D style of screw will be one with machine threads and a blunt end. This eliminates sharp points and coarse threads with the attendant sharp-edged thread exposures of typical sheet metal screws. The penetrating length varies depending on the application and location.